AP Twitch support is extremely strong right now for some reason, so let's see exactly how it's done. Hello my fellow misfortunates, today we are spectating a Twitch support game played by a challenger player, and... Okay, so stealth first to tag on some damage. I would have thought, well actually it makes sense because you get attack speed, which is super valuable early game, and you can sneak up on people, but yeah, without your contaminate, you're lacking some serious damage here. So you obviously need all three of your spells to really make it work. By the way, the reason it works in the first place is because they added AP ratios. Well, they buffed the AP ratio to Twitch's contaminate, or whatever it's called, the E. And further, they gave his passive true damage an AP scaling. Okay, so yeah, the Q is actually key. You need Q level 1, for sure. Or else you can't make sneaky plays like this. It actually puts so much pressure on the opponent, because they need to constantly keep in mind that you might be sneaking up on them if they don't see you. It's actually a huge deal. So if you don't take Q level 1, you're essentially inting, I would assume. So yeah, okay, so kill them, push the wave in, go base. Quite simple stuff. About the item build, I've seen people go for Moby boots, but I think it's not quite correct. Attack speed is just so vital on this champion when you play him AP, because not only do you need your attack speed, well, your attack speed is like your main damage source indirectly, because you need it to stack your passive. You can't rely on your W solely. And this is very important. He goes base after the kill and immediately goes to another lane. Twitch support is all about the roaming. Another reason why you need your stealth level 1. Instantly forcing out the flash from Zoe. So yeah, you see he immediately buys boots as well. In my opinion, Berserker's Greaves is the better boots choice for Twitch. Better than mobility boots for sure. But I mean, it's probably still up to preference, all in all. But yeah, you need Nash's Tooth, and obviously Twitch does not benefit much from magic penetration or anything similar, because he has, again, the AP scaling on his passive, which is true damage anyway. So magic penetration actually does nothing for that. But yeah, you see, Twitch support is also best paired with an aggressive laner, or a laner that can push the wave and then kind of sit back. Jhin, Tristana, too, maybe even Ashe and Caitlyn with their range. But yeah, you see, he essentially plays like a second jungler right now. This is how heavily you should roam on Twitch support. It's very reminiscent of a good old River Shen, in case you remember that. Just a Shen that essentially plays the river, or Nunu support even. Nunu support works in similar ways. But yeah, you just play the entire map essentially. Try to get as many kills as possible. Right now, through the early game aggression, he already got 3 of them. And it looks like he doesn't even upgrade his boots right away. He's sitting on boots 1 and bought components for Nash's Tooth. Again, Nash's Tooth being like the perfect item. It does everything Twitch wants to do. Gives you attack speed to stack your passive more quickly. Gives you AP for your passive damage and your E damage. The E AP ratio is nothing to scoff at. It does, in combination with the physical damage it does anyway, about 1,000 mixed damage in the mid-game. Yeah, she will die to the passive. Well, he doesn't have any AP, right? So she lives, yeah, okay. So if your only AP item is your support item, then obviously your passive is not that strong yet. But as soon as you get some AP, people will just die if they have Twitch's passive stacked to max on them. Okay, now he's ganking his own lane, which should be viable, or shouldn't it? I mean, Jhin is 1 level ahead of them because he's essentially playing a solo lane. But yeah, this is... pulling this off in solo queue might be problematic, simply due to the fact that you might tilt your AD carry with this, because, well, at least right now, as soon as this pick gets more and more popular, AD carries will get used to it, both playing with and playing against it, and adapt their playstyles accordingly. But if your AD carry just feels being let down in a 1v2 lane, then that's obviously not good for you. But if he plays this correctly, then this definitely works. It's essentially a second jungler. You see, he has spent very little time yet in his own lane, just constantly looking for plays around the map. This is actually a good situation. 2v1, 3v1 now. He should die. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Alright, so right now it's essentially a Twitch jungle, right? Because in the early game you don't have items anyway. So it's very similar. If you're familiar with Twitch jungle, if you play Twitch jungle yourself, then this early game playstyle should be quite easy for you to pull off. But as soon as, I mean, the thing is your damage is delayed. So as soon as the mid and late game rolls around, you need to position very carefully, because you need to both deal a lot of damage, or not deal a lot of, well, still deal a lot of damage, but you need to auto-attack a lot, which doesn't do a lot of damage initially. Then you need to press E and hope they die from poison, and then you still need to run away, because you can't just kill them before they kill you. If you go for a heads-up fight with them, you will always lose, even if you kill them afterwards from the damage over time. Okay, ganks his own lane again. But even if you manage to get the kill afterwards, you don't have much burst. You have your one contaminate, or your... Is E called contaminate? I think so. You have that, but that's it. Your auto attacks, even with Nash's Tooth, are not that bursty. It's more about the passive ticking down, slowly but constantly. Alright, so that's getting Twitch nice and fed, but Jhin goes down. Oh well. Again, pushing the lane in, never staying too long in one place. You don't really want to give your enemy the opportunity to predict where you are. I mean, right now, they don't see him on the map, which is good enough. He might as well, they don't know, he might have gone base and roamed top lane. They can't tell, it's impossible. So all of them need to play so cautiously. Yeah, and if they fail to do that, look at this Zoe, for example, they will just die. Again, obviously this game is looking quite good, because this Twitch is making correct macro decisions, but if you fail to pull off successful ganks, quick note, successful ganks does not necessarily mean you kill them. It can also just mean applying a lot of pressure on the enemy and not dying yourself. So for example, you burn their flash and deal a bit of damage, which gives your laner and your jungler an absurd advantage against them for the next 5 minutes. This is also a successful gank. But if you don't really make these successful ganks happen, you can't just sit in lane and farm or poke. It doesn't work. Twitch does not have the range or the sustain or the survivability to do that. So you need to make successful roams happen. If you fail to do that, you will fall behind in experience and in gold, and you will be quite useless in the mid to late game. So that's just a caveat for you. Alright, blue team at dragon. Let's see how they respond. I guess they need to let it go. Yeah. Oh, that's such an awkward situation. When you low-key want to contest dragon, but also know that you can't really do it, and you just idle in front of the dragon pit and get chunked. That's a bad feeling. Yeah, and this is how that happens. You just die because of this. Again, you need to commit to either the play, or you need to just let it be entirely. If you just stand there, watch them while they're doing dragon, and just stand there waiting to get jumped on, then that's what happens. You need to always commit to the play one way or the other. Alright, now Twitch finishes both Nash's Tooth and Berserker's Greaves, which means he has a big power spike. So, again, you don't really get anything, or you don't really get value off of any stat besides ability power and attack speed. Those are the only stats you can really put to use. So the standard build is Nash's Into Death Cap, completely foregoing a mythic item. The mythic item of choice would be, by the way, Night Harvester. The cooldown reduction is quite nice. Ooh, good dodge. Just making sure it doesn't get pinned to the wall. And yeah, now we're talking. Yeah, E does a lot of damage here. But yeah, Night Harvester is also nice because the movement speed in teamfights allows you to kite a little bit better. And it has a lot of burst damage to it. And lack of burst damage is really what's is really Twitch's main concern, right? But most important stats, again, ability power. So your first 2 items are Nash's Tooth and Death Cap. And then realistically speaking, again, Night Harvester and then the Wardstone support item. This is the thing with supports, you only really have 3 item slots to choose from, because one is blocked by boots, the other is your support item, and the next is the Wardstone. So you only have 3 spaces in your inventory. And the 3 best items for Twitch AP support are, again, Nash's, Death Cap, Night Harvester. Okay, so we're ganking our own lane, huh? Oh, spreading his passive out. Nice. Jhin barely getting out of this. Okay. So, jungle is dead, bot lane is dead. So while this looks risky at first glance, it is not as risky as as it looks. Because, again, there are quite a few enemies off the map, which means they can't kill him suddenly. And he has some lifesteal due to his what, actually? From his runes, I guess. Going Gale Force and Doran's Blade, yeah, it needs to be the Ravenous Hunter or the Legend Bloodline. But yeah, they can take this tower now. Ooh, actually they overstayed. Good play by the Ashe. Yeah. I would have died the same way. I thought, okay, that tower is safe, but if you completely ignore the enemy respawn timer, then you will be getting caught off guard for sure. Alright, so after his respawn, again, we already see Twitch working towards his, not Zhonya's, what is it, Rabadon's Death Cap. Okay, he went mid lane initially, but yeah, bot lane is the place to be. Jungler is bot, AD carry is bot, they can collapse on this. He's spotted, but this shouldn't stop them. Okay, Rengar disengages, so maybe this is no longer a good play. But maybe I'm just underestimating the power. Twitch trading 1 for 2 there. Yeah, had Rengar stayed, this would have been so good. 1 for 3, okay, still, definitely worth it. Yeah, if you aim correctly and apply your passive to multiple targets with your ulti, then your teamfight damage is just absurd. However, it is harder to do than with regular AD Twitch, because in the AD carry or jungle position, or when you go for attack damage items, right? Then Twitch does have the Runaan's Hurricane, which means he applies his passive to multiple targets anyway. However, AP Twitch obviously cannot buy this. The crit would be completely wasted, and you need to have high ability power to make this entire concept worth it. So you need to aim very carefully with your ultimate. That's the quintessence of it. He should leave this for Jhin. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so right now all the lanes are essentially won thanks to Twitch's presence. I'm not sure. I wouldn't advance, or I wouldn't invade too hard here. This looks a little bit risky. Yeah, I had Yi and Zoe turned. Well, maybe I'm personally not used to playing stealth champions, so maybe I'm the paranoid AD carry main inside my head is just a little bit too loud there. Alright, now they definitely got numbers advantage and can try to make a play happen. Okay, the stun fails, so don't chase, please. Alright. Yeah, they really should be taking the Rift Herald, by the way. It's still up for 4 minutes before it despawns. And taking that Herald would really allow them to crack open the enemy base. I mean, that's one way of doing it. But yeah, that entire snowball from mid and bot lane is due to Twitch's early game presence. He was constantly roaming and yeah, just like this. If you don't respect Twitch's stealth, this will happen. What? Okay, that damage is ridiculous. But yeah, whenever you play against a champion such as Twitch or Evelynn, you can never base in a spot like this. You can't do this in every other matchup, so this might be so deeply ingrained in your brain that you do it anyway and die. You need to always base close to your tower, because towers have true sight, right? And Twitch cannot sneak up and kill you when you do this, because you will see him. Towers detect all kinds of stealth. So yeah, I think also this build looks stronger than it probably is. No, that doesn't do it justice. The thing is, it is still a strong selling point of the build that people are just not used to, or just don't respect stealth champions as much, and just play by muscle memory. He doesn't get it, right? She's running away. Yeah, that was too greedy. For sure. He still dies, though. But yeah, that looked fishy. Just walking into Fog of War. I mean, he's a stealth champion, but he didn't stealth right there. He was just chasing Vayne into the enemy jungle. Not that it didn't work out for them. I mean, they just aced them. But still, giving the enemy a huge amount of shutdown gold. I mean, shutdowns are the comeback mechanic. And whenever you're ahead like this, you want to keep snowballing. You don't want to give the enemy the opportunity to make a comeback happen. Alright, whatever that Zoe was doing right there. Okay, so we finished Death Cap here. And this Amp Tome is probably going towards Night Harvester, right? However, as far as the mythic item is concerned, you do have some other options. You can opt for Rift Maker, for example. It's also a fine item, just boosting your damage the longer you are in combat, right? And Twitch is in combat for quite a while because of his passive. And amplifying all that by a percentage. Oh, look at him go! This looks so goofy. But yeah, Riftmaker is an option if you want to go for this. The mythic passive is a... He doesn't get away with this, does he? Yeah, certainly not. But yeah, obviously Riftmaker has the mythic passive of giving you magic penetration and armor penetration. And I mean, it's still somewhat usable because you auto-attack, you have Nash's proc, and you have your E. But it doesn't do anything for your passive. So it's not fully efficient, right? I have also seen the Imperial Mandate is what it's called. You can also use that. It's quite nice because it gives you even more AP with its mythic passive, and it's quite inexpensive as well. And you apply it easily with your W. The Mark. So those are the options you realistically have, but most people do go for Night Harvester. Whereas Leeching Leer, okay, looks like this player is in fact opting for the Rift Maker. In most games it won't matter though, because as a support, you don't really have the income. In most games you will just sit on 2 items and then the game's over. One way or the other. He's just trolling at this point, isn't he? He goes in 1v3 and still kills all 3 of them. But this is what I mean. You just got bursted down instantly. This Ashe still died horribly to all the poison. But obviously this takes time because the poison ticks over time. And yeah, they just burst you down. You're just a squishy rat after all. So if you go for plays like these, you need to accept the fact that you will die for them. So Twitch got a full build, finally. I mean, he's technically still missing his Ward Stone, but you know what I mean. He got the 3 items he can go for, as far as item slots are concerned. At this point, though, all 3 inhibitors are down. The game is most likely just over. You can maybe see 1 or 2 more kills before the Nexus dies. There we go. Come on, just end, bro. Oh well. If you want to learn more about your favorite champions, or if you want to learn more about the champions you already play, then you will find exactly what you need by watching that Ashe die, or not, and clicking the playlist on your screen right there. A big thank you to all my Patreons and channel members. If you want to become a Patreon yourself, just go to patreon.com/mfdb. But if you rather save your money, you can support me for free by clicking the like and the subscribe button.